Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is, Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. And just look at this day behind me there. It's only 4 degrees or something according to the app, but just look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I might just see if I can get a better view of the mountains, or the mountain, once we get across the other side. But just a beautiful day, not a breath of wind. Cloud or two in the sky, and very, very pleasant this morning. So it should be a good day. All right, on to yesterday. We had the Talking Boxing last night, and really well viewed again, which was fantastic. Again, I say it every week, but really appreciate everyone that tunes in on a Monday night and then listens to it on Spotify afterwards. A lot of conversation last night. I'll get to it all in a second, but we'll get to on this day, for starters, if I can get Neil going here. Good boy there, buddy. All right, on this day, let's go back to 1927, and the NBA, not that NBA, but the National Boxing Association, became the first sanctioning body to govern the sport. Yes, the NBA started in boxing, not basketball. So that's what it's called, the NBA, National Boxing Association, the first sanctioning body to govern the sport. So a big moment in history for the sport of boxing. The other thing that happened on this day, in 2023, Tyson Fury won a very, very close decision over Francis Ngannou. That fight, I think, was in Saudi Arabia, wasn't it? Yes, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The scores, Tyson Fury 96-93, 95-94, and one of the judges scored it 95-94 for Francis Ngannou. So very, very, lucky get out of jail for Tyson Fury in that fight. So that's what happened in 2023. And we all know what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou, a year later or whatever it was, when he obliterated Francis Ngannou in 2 rounds. And I think that was also in Saudi Arabia. But I liked the Joshua fight, because what it was none of this that we'd seen in the past with Fury and Ngannou, Mayweather-McGregor, where the boxer who clearly had all the advantages just went through the motions, tried to put on a show. I don't like that. I like to get down to business, and Anthony Joshua did just that and knocked Ngannou out and showed what professional boxers should be doing to MMA fighters who cross over and decide to take on the best fighters in the sport. So that was, as I said, on this day in 2023. All right, some Aussie news. What have we got? Andrew Maloney is booked in to fight in Fiji this weekend. And this is a little bit of a topic on Talking Boxing last night. And he is going to be fighting, I haven't actually got his name here, sorry, but he's an Indian opponent. And the obvious questions come up. Why is he fighting in Fiji? Why is he fighting an Indian? Has he fallen that much from the world? Saying no. Well, the answer is no and no. So I explained this last night on Talking Boxing, that, look, it's all just based around maintaining his ranking. He's ranked number 1, officially ranked number 3 with the IBF. The 1 and 2 ranked positions are vacant. Again, I don't know how rankings become vacant, but anyway, they are, and he's ranked number 3, technically number 1. But anyway, so and he's also very highly ranked in the other organisations as well. So what this is a fight to maintain those rankings, because if you don't fight within a year, and his last fight was November or December or something last year, if you don't fight within a year, then you can risk losing your rankings, and that's why he needs a fight, any fight, just to get back in there and stay active. Another thing, of course, is to get back in the ring after being out since that time. He was supposed to fight, of course, in Mexico. When was that? Was that July? Or then it became August, I think it was. And after 5 date changes, 2 venue changes as well, Team Maloney said, that's it, we're coming home, and it came back. So I obviously missed that opportunity. Now, I did see the interview with Andy, by the way, where he said that he thought that they actually did it deliberately over there in Mexico, because when he got to wherever the fight was supposed to be, can't remember exactly where it was, there was no advertising for the fight, no venue for the fight. It was very, very peculiar, he said. Peculiar, that's the word, strange. And he just had this feeling that something was amiss. The whole team thought something was amiss. Went through everything, the numerous date changes, and as they always do, Team Maloney just put the head down and just kept battling on and just preparing for the fight. And then when the venue changed, not just the venue, but the city, to Mexico City, which I think from memory was about 700 or 800 kilometres away. Now, a lot of people said, well, what's the hassle? You just drive or get a flight or whatever. It's not a massive deal. But what people need to realise is that Mexico City, I think he said is it 2,000, 20,000, 2,000, whatever it is, metres above sea level, which basically means that the elevation is so much higher than where they were training, and would have really affected his performance and ability to adapt to the surroundings. So I don't know how all this sea level stuff works, but apparently if you're at higher altitude or whatever, which is why they use those training apparatuses in training to sort of mimic what it's like to be at higher elevation. I think I got that right, but that's what happened. And when that did occur, that's when Team Maloney said, no, that's it, we're out of here. Fortunately, the IBF took their side in proceedings and said, don't worry, we're not going to penalise you, we're going to penalise the other side. And Andrew was made the number one challenger, or number three, whatever it is, but number one challenger for that belt. Now, what happens is after this fight, he's got to come through unscathed, of course, but when his opponent's, I think he's 8-3 or 6-3 or something like that, you would think that Mandy would get through. That will take place, I think, in April or May next year. The Willibaldo, Gomez, or Garcia, is it? Willibaldo, Garcia, it might be, and Kenshiro Terashi are fighting on December 27th on that big card in Japan. Andy will fight the winner of that in April or May. So that is the carrot. So that is why he's fighting this weekend. So it's got nothing to do with falling off the cliff as far as the boxing world goes and having to go to Fiji to get fights. No, it's just to do with getting a stay busy fight, maintaining his ranking, and then the eye on the big prize, which is a shot at the IBF World Super Flyweight title in April or May. Probably, I think he said that he expects Terashi to win that fight, even though, I don't know, 33 years of age. He's coming off those losses to Sandoval. I'm not sure if he's had a fight since then, but he's had a lot of wars. But being in Japan, you would probably expect him to win that fight. But that's what Andrew thinks anyway, and that's who he expects to be fighting. So if that is the case, like his brother Jason, he will fly to Japan, you would think, and fight over there. No mention, though, about the Tasman Fighters connection. Jason, of course, has just signed with Tasman Fighters, so I'm not quite sure what Andrew's situation is, but I'm sure once that world title's locked in, I'm sure something will come about. So that's what's happening with Andrew Maloney, and I think everyone that watches this channel knows my history with the boys and just how much I think of them, and I really hope that both of them get world title shots next year. Jason's still pretty highly ranked. I'm not exactly sure how high at the moment, but if he wins on December 6th, you'll probably see him just get back into motion as well as far as rankings goes. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a big fight next year and both brothers fight for world titles. Well, Andrew should be locked in, and you'd think Jason, being a former world champion, should get an opportunity as well. So that's what's happening with Team Maloney. Time's running out to some extent, though. What are they, 34, I think now, 33, 34. But they always look after themselves, always keep themselves in really, really good shape. So, best of luck to the boys next year. The other fight I did see that's coming back, I think it's the end of this month, is John Manu. Big fan of John Manu. Where did I see it? I think someone actually sent it to me as well, but I did see it. Oh, now the opponent for Andrew Maloney, by the way, is Parwan Kumar. That was his opponent. So John Manu, it's in Melbourne at the Melbourne Pavilion, Saturday the 13th of December. So good to see John Manu back, 16 wins and 1 loss. He's had that 1 loss when he went to the States to fight. So really want to see John Manu get an opportunity in a big fight, either whether it's here or abroad. I think he's ready to step up. here in Australia. I mean, geez, he's even offered to fight George Kambosos at one stage, but, some good fights there. Maybe Liam Wilson could come up. Some really, really good fights hopefully here in Australia for him. Jake Wiley's probably another one, probably the one that probably makes sense. Good to see John Manu back, the beast. And hopefully he can get, as I said, get a big fight at some stage as well. What did I say? The Melbourne Pavilion, December 13th. So get down and check that one out. Some good Aussie cards coming up to finish off the year, actually. The other one is, when is that next? When is it? The Camille Bella Vorobov fight, I think it is. I think that's coming up as well. So I did go through it last night on Talking Boxing, but I can't remember the exact date. Now, just one last thing on Aussie boxing. Speaking of that, Eddie Hearn. Now, I did say yesterday that the Paddy Donovan, Liam Paro fight was still up in the air. Might go to purse bids because they're negotiating at the moment at Matchroom and No Limit as far as that fight goes. If it does go to purse bids and Matchroom wins, it will be in Ireland, and if No Limit wins, it will be here in Australia. So that was one of the things he was talking about. But the other thing he said is that in 2026 he's looking to shake up Australian boxing. So it's about to, I think we're about to strap in and get excited for what should be good times coming up, because Eddie Hearn, I've said this all along, if he decided to really get serious about taking on Aussie boxing, I don't really know why, to be honest, with so much going on in the US and England, why he'd be looking at our little part of the world down here. I mean, there are obviously some very, very good fighters, but in the scheme of things, USA and England are so much bigger as far as the markets goes. But anyway, he's looking to take it on. Obviously, it's got something to do with probably Jai Pataya. I mean, Justice Honey coming through. He's still got Sky Nicholson, so maybe that's what he's looking at there. But something to get excited about anyway, that Eddie Hearn says 2026 will be the year he really makes good on his promise and has a real crack at the Australian market. And if you look at, I mean, he's already in with Tasman Fighter, so that's a good thing. And obviously the other big ones are No Limit. But the fact that DAZN and this Foxtel thing is all going to happen and DAZN will take over Foxtel, we all know how close Eddie Hearn is, or how entrenched with DAZN that he is, and how passionate he is about the streaming platform. That once that sort of happens, will he make a play and try and rip this contract up as far as No Limit goes, and really gives them something to think about as far as wanting pay-per-views and all these other dates that they have. So with Eddie Hearn involved and serious about it, do the boys at No Limit have something to think about? Will he actually work in with No Limit? Which, when you think about it, probably could be the smart thing to do. He already works in with Tasman, of course, but actually work in with No Limit as well, and do it that way, rather than just pick a promoter and try and go against everyone else. Maybe he just works with everyone else, gets his fighters on all the big cards around Australia, and doesn't have to do a hell of a lot of work to do it. I don't know, but we'll see. But either way, really excited that Eddie Hearn is talking that way, because the only thing it will do is benefit Australian boxing, which will be fantastic. All right, on to the world scene, and we did see this morning and yesterday that the world is abuzz, the boxing world, that we could see Mayweather Pacquiao 2. Yes, Mayweather Pacquiao 2, and it does make sense, I suppose, when you look at it. Pacquiao come back in, July, looked pretty good. Floyd Mayweather's kept active with these exhibitions over the years. I think he's about to turn 49. Pacquiao is about to turn 47. It looks like it's in the works for Netflix in 2026. Now, what would have to be, of course, worked out is that Floyd Mayweather is supposed to be doing an exhibition with Mike Tyson at some stage in 2026, and Pacquiao is supposed to be fighting maybe Rolly Romero or someone else for a version of the welterweight title. I'm sure both fighters would drop both of those if a fight could be negotiated. So, it's hard to believe that it's been 10 years. By the time the fight happens, it would be 11 years since they first fought. And even back then, it was viewed as being way too late, probably 5 or 6 years too late. Look, I'm not against it. I mean, Pacquiao wants it to be a real fight. I'm assuming if Mayweather came back, I'm not sure whether he would want it to be a real fight. He's got that 50-0 record now, whether he wants that in jeopardy is another thing. He might want to come back for an exhibition. I think even if they did an exhibition, it'd be massive. Now, the first fight generated $600 million, and reports are that Mayweather took home $200 million and Pacquiao took home $100 million. So with all the pay-per-views, 4.6 million pay-per-views, the biggest pay-per-view of all time, a $72 or $73 million gate, which is the biggest in history as well. Or was the biggest. I'm not sure whether it's been actually top since then. The pay-per-views definitely haven't. And people might say about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing, and even Crawford and Canelo, but that was free on Netflix, so we don't count that. Pay-per-views I'm talking about, 4.6 million, and I think the one below that was Mayweather and McGregor was 4.4, I think. So I remember it like it was yesterday. It's hard to believe it's been nearly 11 years, or it's been 10 and a half years, whatever it's been. I was actually over in the States with the Maloney boys actually for the training camp when they last fought in Vegas. It was just absolutely massive. And while this second one obviously wouldn't be anywhere near as big, I think it could do big numbers if it was free on Netflix like all the other, well, I'll say all the others, the other three. What's been the other ones? Paul, Tyson, Katie Taylor, Serrano, and Crawford and Canelo. So this would be the fourth one. So I think it could do massive numbers. The fact that it's free on Netflix, I know you got to pay subscription, but you know what I'm getting at, it's free on Netflix as part of your subscription. It could rival, I reckon, the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson numbers, really. I mean, people would really want to see it. And now, would it matter if it's an exhibition or it's a fight? I think if it was an actual fight, it would definitely get a lot of attention. If it's an exhibition, it'd still get a fair few eyeballs on it, but obviously it wouldn't be taken too seriously. But Pacquiao to this day has always said that he fought injured and had that torn rotator cuff, according to him and Freddie Roach. Look, I'll be honest, I would think that these guys could fight 10 times and Mayweather beats him 10 times. I don't subscribe to if the fight was held 5 years earlier, it would have been different. If Pacquiao wasn't injured, it would have made a difference. Just the styles. Mayweather's just one of those guys who can just work out any fighter. Pacquiao, when you think about it, is pretty predictable in the way he fights. He just comes straight at you, and there's not a lot of tactics involved with Pacquiao, and that's why Mayweather, as I said, would, in my opinion, beat him 10 times out of 10. It'd be great, maybe a great injection for the sport. Maybe it would be good for another free Netflix fight to sort of, again, inject some more excitement. But do we want any more of these circuses happening? Does this qualify for a circus? Not sure. Look, end of the day, if both of them come in fit, and looks like they are super fit at the moment. Pacquiao only fought, a few months back, and Mayweather always keeps himself in shape. That it would be an entertaining fight. And they're healthy, as I said, keep themselves in good nick. So, yeah, I think it'll be good for the sport. But it'd be interesting to see how much money it would actually generate. So anyway, that's what's happening with Mayweather, Pacquiao. I'm not sure when they were talking about that it might happen, but the fact that they're even talking about it, and one of the most sort of respected people in the sport, Mike Coppinger, is the one that was sort of talking about it from the ring. He's the one that was mentioning it. So you would think that if he's talking about it, that it's definitely in the works. So that's Mayweather, Pacquiao too. I think that's about it for today, guys. I don't think there's much else happening. I'm sure something will pop up. But in the meantime, guys, have a great Tuesday. We'll catch you tomorrow.